Welcome back, everybody. My name is Gregtech, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. So, while I was away, off camera, I went ahead and made the 3 cans of tetrafluoroethylene that it wants to make. I only have 14 of the cans of chloromethane. I completely forgot that when it talks about combining the chlorine and the methane, that it's going to take, basically 3 times the amount, I think it is, of chlorine and methane because it combines it into a denser form. So the chloromethane now, still waiting on getting more methane. I've kind of turned off the fermented biomass for the time being, just because I was trying to get through quite a bit of the stuff that I want to make to get closer to AE2 being run all over the place so that I don't have to have things chunk loaded. It gets rather frustrating when I have to run around and knock loose pipes because things are bouncing back and forth in these pipes. But in any case, I have a couple of other interesting things going on here. Right here, I have everything necessary to make 47 of the industrial sieve casings. I have the stuff to make 18 of the large sieve grates. That should give an update here shortly. I also have the advanced sifting machine 2. That one, so right there, updating the large sifter. I have to have this guy, which does complete the quest in the HV tab for making, where is it? Right there, making the advanced sifting machine. And then that thing, when you slap it into the middle of that, is the controller for the large sifter. So that is the majority of the things necessary to make the large sifter. I am going to need to go through and make I'm going to have to make all of these buses and hatches and things. I'm going to need the input buses, the input bus, the output buses, the maintenance hatch, the muffler, the energy hatch, and that's pretty much it. The rest of that stuff is just the exact same thing again. Another listing for the maintenance hatch. The core module you don't need unless I'm trying to limit how much power this thing can use. And then, of course, the muffler hatch is the muffler hatch. Now, it only does 40 pollution a second. That isn't a whole lot, but I am still going to end up putting it over there so that I can keep all of my pollution over in those chunks. I'm even going to be moving some of this stuff over there as well. One of the things I am considering making is I'm considering taking this titanium I've stored up and making the large heat exchanger, bringing over an Ignis node, trying to get it powered up, energize it, and then make that thing power some lava, some everburn urns to draw out lava, and have that run through the large heat exchanger, and then have that thing go through a steam turbine that will make the steam turbine that will require me to run around and get turbines every once in a while. My understanding, though, is that the shadow turbine lasts for something like 3 to 4 weeks of continuous play, and since I don't intend on having things up unless I am actively on the server, that would mean that for me that's probably like 3 months per turbine, something along those lines. So most of my gameplay is on the weekends where I can get in 8 to 16 hours depending on what's going on. So having it not running all the time will be fantastic for those turbines, and it will provide me with at least EV power, I think, if I do the math right. We'll see what happens. I may be able to get one of those buffered EV dynamos soon, and if that is the case, then that could really go a long way to making it so that I can run 4 amps of EV power and actually get some of these things actually upgraded. I would actually like to tear down this wall and turn it all into the EV blocks, or sorry, HV blocks, and have HV machines over here running most of my setup. It would certainly make other things a little bit faster. But that's neither here nor there. That is something for the future while I work on stuff. So now that I have this, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to take the time to make all of these buses and hatches, and then I will bring you guys back in when we go to build that thing somewhere somewhat close to the pyrolyzed oven, maybe to the left of it, because the chunk that it's in is the middle chunk. That thing is sitting right about here, the middle of this chunk, so I still have this chunk that I could slap it down, maybe give it HV power, and then start crushing up some of these ores that give crystals. And yeah, that would be extremely helpful. Anyway, I will be back in a while. Well, I'm back, and had to make one of these guys right here, the Advanced Polarizer 2, in order to make these magnetic neodymium rods, in order to make any of the EV level stuff, because it needs those in for these motors. Now, the reason I went to the effort of making these guys is so that I could complete the annoying quest that everybody hates. This one right here. You're going to hate this 1 through 4 in EV. It wants you to make a pump, a piston, a conveyor, and a robot arm. Now, eventually I will be using all of these things, but the one thing I was focused on, which is why I went through this effort, is I'm making 4 of these pumps, in order to make this guy right here, the large heat exchanger. This guy needs to take 4 of those electric pumps in addition to a bunch of other things. I was working on, there you can see my stacks of titanium. I only have 6 stacks of these guys right here. I'm missing another 2, and that's because it's over here in the form of titanium tetrachloride. I have all of that together. This is mainly for the casing for that large heat exchanger. There's some other stuff that I'm also going to be working on. So there are the 2 pistons. Then in addition to that, I have the stuff necessary in order to make these here. There's the robot arm. I'm going ahead and using one of my EV chips for that. Then over here I have the rest of the materials in order to make the 4 pumps, but right now I only have the 2 motors, and that's because those other 2 motors are getting turned into the conveyor belt, just so that I can knock out this quest. I will end up making 2 more of those guys so that I can finish off that quest entirely. But for right now, we'll go with 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and 2. So I will have to make 2 more of those guys, but I at least wanted to knock out the pump, or the other stuff aside from the pump, so that I could complete this quest and unlock more of the EV quest line. Here you can see I went ahead and I just did a stack of 32, or sorry, yeah, I guess a stack of 32 of the neodymium ore, quadrupled it in the chemical reactor with some platina leaves, and now I'm just going through the effort of getting them all put together that way. Get a little bit of rare earth while it's at it. So there are the 2 pumps. You heard the ding there for this quest, and it unlocks the EV assembling machine, which needs a second conveyor belt and another robot arm in addition to the other 2 chips. So I may go ahead and put together the stuff I need for that as well. I already have the EV machine hull. The aluminum's not too bad. It's just I would need another 3, 4, 5 motors in addition to the extra titanium. I may not do that right now, primarily because I'm more focused on getting the pumps done there. So I'm going to go ahead and make 2 more motors in just a bit, and then get working on that large heat exchanger, getting some more of this titanium actually cooked up, and I'll bring you guys back in a while. We're back, and I have a bunch of things I'm working on crafting right now. If I start right here, I have the titanium pipe casings, 3 of those guys. In the meantime, I can also get these couple of guys out just to make room. And then over here, I can use one of those in order to make the large heat exchanger controller block. So you can see there it needs the titanium pipe casing, 2 of them inside the middle of the machine. So that's what these extra 2 are there for. I'm going to go ahead and put these guys over here for the large heat exchanger. There we go. Over here, I have the 28 stable titanium machine casings that will go around that thing outside of the few inputs and outputs. I need to make a maintenance hatch for it. I haven't done that part yet. Let's go ahead and make this machine casing. I have an LV machine casing, and then I have these 2 HV machine casings there. I've got some molten glass in here along with that. Let's see, this is for this guy, so let me make that first. I need to make just 1 HV motor, and that way I can slap the motor in here and get that guy converted into a pump. Then I have a tank. I have a double copper plate and a little bit of molten glass in there in order to make a copper tank. Next I have 8 of the polyethylene, so I can put 2 of those, or 1 of those and 2 of those in there. There's my MV machine hull, LV machine casing, there we go, and then the 2 HV machine casings. And then I need the machine hull, the copper tank, and let's see here. I need this guy, the input hatch, so I need a circuit 1. Let me grab that real quick. Oh, and then what else does that need? Probably some polyethylene? Yeah. Yep, 2. So there we go. There's 2 of that, and that'll make my MV input bus. Input hatch. Input hatch. Fluids are hatches. I can never, for whatever reason, remember that to save my life. There is my machine hull, and then I need my wrench, screwdriver, soft mallet, hammer, wire cutters, crowbar. I think that's it. Let's get these guys organized a bit better. There we go. Hammer, soft mallet, that guy, and then the wire cutters. There we go. That one, that one. Why does it rearrange them? I want my stuff back. There we go. And let's put it all back. So, crowbar, hammer, mallet, wire cutters, screwdriver, wrench. There we go. All right, all of that just so that I could make this maintenance hatch. I could make this input hatch, and then one of these 2 guys goes around here because I need him, that one, and then I also need these guys made, and I believe they take a configuration 1 as well. Oh, it probably needs this HV. Whoa. Hello, mouse. Stick with me here. It probably needs to be done over here. So that, and that. Yep, there we go. And then this guy is going to make my HV dynamo. Now the reason I'm making an HV dynamo is because this guy requires it. But in reality, I'm going to be turning right around and making instead the buffered dynamo. So let's see here. That, those, and one of those. There we are. And we can put that guy back. And then the last thing I need to make with this set of stuff that I've made is this guy. Machine hull, those two, and that. All right, how does this guy want it? 4 of them, 2 of those, and 2 of those. Okay. Why did I only make 3 if I needed 4? That's the real question. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Yep. Then where did I put my 4th gear? I guess I just didn't make one. I thought I only needed to make 3 for some reason. So let's grab 4 more steel then. I thought I was completely prepared for this. In the meantime, you can see right here, I've got the EV robot arm. I also have all the materials here to make a conveyor. And those guys go into making this. Now, I wasn't immediately thinking I was going to make this advanced assembling machine, but it turns out I need it after all. The advanced assembling machine I need in order to make the, whoops, give me that. There we go. In order to make the stuff like the EV dynamo hatch needs this EV assembler. The dynamo hatch isn't really necessary, but what I do want to make is the EV input hatch. And that also requires an EV assembler. So unfortunately, that's what I'm left with. Oh, and look at that. This guy either needs the polybenzimidazole or the polytetrafluoroethylene. So I've got the 3 cans of TFE. I just need to combine that with some oxygen to make PTFE, and then I'll be able to use that to make this input hatch in order to accept enough fluid to make, to make power in this large steam boiler. Large steam turbine. Oh, I've got it upside down. Let's fix that real quick. There we go. Large steam turbine. Got that. Over here is the HV dynamo. And then over in here are already my 30 turbine casings. So that'll get me that. And then this thing is going to want me to make, some kind of small turbine. I'm not ready to make a small turbine yet, but that'll also unlock this fluid regulator. I'm going to need to go in and make, I don't have it up. I'm going to need to make this fluid regulator here. These guys, I would need an IV fluid regulator in order to make that, and that takes 2 IV machine frames as well as the IV pump, which takes tungsten steel, which I can't make. So I can make this fluid regulator and do it per tick and get as much as I need through. So I will be working towards making one of those in addition to setting up this turbine. Now that I did get that done, however, I do want to take this guy and let's see, I need just a chip and a 4x gold cable. So I'm going to need 2 gold and 2 rubber. There we go. And then I'm also going to need one of these guys there. I like using this new advanced wire mill. He can't quite keep up with like the electrical steel. He runs out of power pretty quickly, but at least he does all the other wires nice and quickly. Let's go ahead and get these guys melted in. There we go. And then this is going to be done, just by itself. Excellent. So here we go. I have my advanced circuit, my dynamo, and that guy, and now I have a buffered dynamo. That guy will make it so that I can pull out all the power from the steam turbine. If you use the turbine calculator, making a, I believe I'm using I'm going to be using a normal shadow turbine, which gives like 1.8 thousand EU per tick, which is just under 1 EV amp. So that guy pulling out almost 4 amps of HV power, that'll be good. But yeah, that was everything I wanted to get done right this minute. The next things I'm going to be focusing on are in this bag. I'm working on the magic stuff so that I can get a node up and running that can make centiviz for everburn urns that I can use with the large heat exchanger that then goes and gets used with the steam turbine here. So I'm going to get to work on that. I believe this video is running on just about the appropriate time to call it good. So expect this area to change as I get these guys probably moved back there, and then I set up the large heat exchanger somewhere around here so that I can just draw a node and have those node transfer things and bring it on down and use this area to then provide another amp of EV power. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then.